Work management platforms. Ugh, endless onboarding, IT bottlenecks, admin requests. But what if things were different?
We found love in an open space.
Monday.com is different. No lengthy onboarding. Beautiful reports in minutes. Custom workflows you can build on your own. Easy to use prompt-free AI. Turns out you can love a work management platform. Monday.com, the first work platform you'll love to use.
You wouldn't think I was pressed for time the way Robert and I just spent 11 minutes kikiing.
A full gab sesh.
A full gab sesh. And I have s'mores crispy treats cooling right now.
Wait, where the fuck is my Wicked parody?
Oh, I thought of the... Okay, wait. I'm not going to sing right. I thought of the solution for that. I'll come back to that.
Wow.
Good day. I almost started the way I start the tea, but this is not the tea. My name's Joe Batanz, and this is RulaskaThoughts for season 17, episode 11. I'm with my podcast boyfriend, Robert. Notice I never call Nathan my podcast boyfriend. I'll tell you why. I'm monogamous. I'm not in an open relationship. Robert's often been asked to go on other podcasts, and I say no.
I have an exclusivity agreement.
Yeah, he can only come on this podcast.
No options.
I've said, look, in a few years, we can talk about going on other podcasts. You know what's so funny? I am going to admit this. An OnlyFans creator reached out to me. Oh, I shouldn't say this. Okay, never mind. I'm going to stop.
Okay.
I'll tell you off the air.
Okay.
I'll tell you off the air. Okay. But basically, an OnlyFans creator reached out to me wanting to know what kind of podcast I make. That's all I have to say. Oh, also in other news.
What do you mean other news? This is your first news item of the day.
Yeah. By the way, all I do is news items about myself. Jay Ellis got a message. You know, he does those videos where he has ramen on his head.
Yeah. Why has he not done Jay Ellis Ross yet?
Oh, like Tracy Ellis Ross?
Yeah, Joe.
I know. I don't know why.
Anyways, yes, Rob in sync.
Another person who looks like she's from like the Garuda Highlands. He does these boy band videos, and somebody wrote to him and was like, "Wait a minute, are you the same Jay Ellis from Drag Race Recap with Joe Batanz?"
What?
And he sent it to me. Thank you. By the way, he is.
There was another Jay Ellis I met, like
An
within the
actor with
last
black?
year. I think something like that, and I was like, "That's not the right Jay Ellis." Something was off about the situation. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
I think
shockingly
when
vaguely common name.
When Jay Ellis gets his SAG card, which is surprising that he doesn't have it yet, he's going to have to change his name.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because his first name isn't Jay. I mean, you know how he's super private, so I'm not going to say what it is. Yeah. Oh, you don't know. Oh, girl, you do not. Robert has exclusive tier access to all the shows, and he doesn't know about Jay and I getting in a fight and all this stuff about this.
Is it Jebediah?
I'm not going to say what it is. You know how he is. So, but I was like, just use your original first name. That'll solve the problem.
Well, does it sound good?
Yeah, it sounds fine. It's a boring name. Anyway, Robert. Oh, Robert, did you have your kiki with Judge Judy after we recorded the last RulaskaThoughts?
Yeah, rap was on Tuesday and we record on Mondays.
Do you want to talk about your meeting with Judge Judy? And you had some sort of like vague reference to a conversation you had with her. Ruth Paul.
Oh god, that was like a full week ago. So I thought I was going to be talking about my pole dancing lesson yesterday, but I guess
you actually went to that? I couldn't go at work.
What do you mean? It was so fun. My body's sore all over, and now I know that if for some godforsaken reason I'm ever on Drag Race and have to dance challenge, like they are going to give me the bumbling fool edit for sure. Granted, I already knew that, but.
And why do I feel like Christian was already a pro at it?
Oh my god, you kidding me? She was swinging from the rafters immediately in like RuPaul's Mac Glam red thigh-high patent leather.
I know. I feel bad.
I missed that phrase. It's been a while since
I had to work. Okay, so let's start with Judge Judy. By the way, for everyone going like, what are they doing? Like, guys, there isn't much to this episode, so just calm down.
Not a ton, I gotta say. So I have worked on Judy Justice, which is the Amazon freebie in a reiteration of Judge Judy's show for the last 4 years, and she therefore has sort of been an indirect boss. We haven't interfaced a lot, but we do like talk like every once in a long while. So it was Tuesday was the last day of filming, so I went to set. I hung out with the producers in the green room. We like watched Judge Judy would come back. We'd talk a little bit. She'd go back out, and when wrap finished, normally it's like, okay, everyone, we're done. Great. You guys are all amazing. She actually gave a really lovely personal speech, and she teared up and choked up. Like I saw emotional Judge Judy because there's so much just uncertainty about the future of not just at Amazon or streaming in general, but just, how many times do we have to say that the industry's, sputtering, a very final dying last gasp for air. But, we don't know if we're going to get renewed for another season. And honestly, the vibe was that it wasn't going to happen. So she gave a long, storied, heartfelt speech about how she's been in the business for 29 years, and a lot of the people she's been working with for all those 29 years. So she's seen them not only grow into their own and have children, but now she's seeing their children have children. It was just so unlike the person who we see on TV. You know what I mean? And it was so personal and raw. And then she ended up by saying, all right, let's go get drunk. And then we went to the wrap party, and that's where you saw me take the picture with her. Then I tagged RuPaul and said, eat your heart out, which I just thought was stupid.
But my question is, you said you asked her about the
I just told her how much I loved that part where she's told me that she's not used to being an interviewer, which is funny considering she's a judge, and that's through a stretch of the imagination, kind of like an interview. But when she was interviewing RuPaul, who of course, I think everyone listening to this podcast knows that Judge Judy's RuPaul's favorite TV show. And
she's his dream guest. Did you talk about why she hasn't gone on the show?
No, I didn't talk about that. I didn't want to take up too much of her time. I fangirl, and granted, we're technically coworkers. But anyways, I asked her about that interview. She remembered that when RuPaul's throwing in random Yiddish words, and then she just says bluntly, I think incorporating Judaism into your personality is not something you need. And she remembered that, and she gave me even more tea. She was like, everywhere. And I don't even know if I should be saying this technically. Maybe I should be under some kind of NDA.
Oh, now we know that I'm going to get a fucking phone call in about 2 hours.
When I get self-conscious?
Yeah, you go like, girl, can you just take that one part out?
I think that's fine. It was just, she had a massive goblet of wine in her hand, and it was just, maybe, am I being Truman Capote in the Swans right now?
No, not at all.
Anyway, it was a strangely emotional day. I'm used to having a somewhat, not robotic, but definitely colder feeling towards one of my varieties of shows that I work on, but I felt genuine emotion that day. It's interesting.
Okay, so now we're going to hear about this pole dancing class, but first, we're going to take a break because everybody wants to hear this story, and we're going to hear about it right after this.
Hi there, it's your vagina speaking. I know sometimes I have a hard time getting there when we get down, but OMG Cream from Wisp is here to help. The instant arousal makes it easier to, It takes 2 minutes to order online, so let's give it a try. OMG. I literally just went to heaven. I'm gonna try that again. Go tell your friends though, get on Wisp. Order OMG Cream online at hellowisp.com. That's hello, WISP.com, and have it delivered for free. Use code OMG for 15% off your first order.
From ADT comes Trusted Neighbor, the new standard in home access. Through the ADT Plus app, easily grant and automate event-based or scheduled access for neighbors, friends, and helpers. Notify trusted individuals of events like alarms or packages, and set access windows for planned guests or even the dog walker without interrupting your day. Visit ADT.com. When every second counts, count on ADT. Requires ADT Complete Pro monitoring plan and compatible devices. Copyright 2025 ADT LLC. All rights reserved.
Hey, it's Haley Steinfeld. When everything requires your attention, it can be tough to figure out what to prioritize. But I'm here to talk to you about something that you should always put first: your breast health. In fact, if you're 40 and over, you should be getting screened once a year. And if you're under 40, it's never too soon to visit yourattentionplease.com to learn about your breast cancer risk. So go on, pay the girls some attention and take the time to find out your breast cancer risk at yourattentionplease.com. Trust me, your future self will thank you.
And we are back. Back again. Robert, you went to a pole dancing class. Our friend Jessica had a birthday. She invited me to this pole dancing class. Two things is I couldn't go. I had to work.
How convenient for you.
Yeah. Two, I probably would have thought of some excuse not to go because I always feel. Yeah. I feel like Christian and Jessica are always set. Okay. Why can't either one of those motherfuckers have a birthday party where it's just come over, let's have some drinks, eat some food, have some cake, and kiki? We always have to do something. Like, it's go to the Buca de Beppo and drag, and then go to Universal City Walk, and go to Universal Studios Horror Nights all in one day, to pay the $30 at the parking, all that. This is a pole dancing class. Why can't it just be a thing? But and then to me, I always think it's a setup just to set me up to look stupid. That's why
it's all about you, is it?
Well, no. Let me rephrase. To make everybody else look stupid, because Jessica knows how to work a pole, right?
Downright, yeah.
She has a history with it. She and Christian probably just do it for fun. And
they
so it's
do.
just like
they used to have a pole in their living room.
Exactly. So it really is. Let's just make all our friends look stupid and we laugh at them.
If that's the case, I felt very much in a safe place where I obviously, like I've said several times, I don't have control over my body movements as well as I should. You know what I mean? I'm not a dancer naturally. I lack the requisite rhythm to like truly make my body move that way. So I knew I was going to look a damn fool up on that pole, but who cares? It's 4 p.m. on a Sunday. They've taken 4 or 5 shots of tequila. So like we're dancing to, I don't know, fucking Borderline by Madonna. Who gives a fuck? So you wouldn't have looked a fool. The only way you can look a fool is being self-conscious about looking like a fool.
Oh no, if I go, I'm going to commit. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just like, I used to, in my younger years with the same straight friends who wanted to do E with me so that we could hug and they would not feel guilty. They also wanted me to go snowboarding with them and water skiing, doing all these things. And I know 100% it was so that I would fall down the hill and they would just laugh their asses off.
Well, maybe, but I love any excuse to go après ski at the lodge.
Well, I'm down with an après ski, but look, I just want to be tumbling down a mountain. Thank you.
Could be fun.
Okay, so you had any other news about the pole dancing?
Well, the thing is that beyond all the pole dancing, it was a fantastic time. I even surprised myself with my own limberness eventually. But after that, we went to Christian and Jessica's, and we did do a very standard birthday party pregame. We even had cake. It was lovely.
Not the cake.
And then we drove 45 minutes to WeHo bars. And then we're there till 1 a.m. So it was just there was regular birthday things. It's just going to the pole dancing class was just the icebreaker, if you would. Not that we need an icebreaker, but
yeah, people you all know. Okay, let's talk about this episode. It was season 17, episode 11. Matt, is his name Matt? No, what's his name?
Who the fuck is
Ross
Matt?
Matthews.
Oh,
Ross Matthews versus the Ducks. Yeah. Oh no, then you wouldn't be into it. There'd be no ducking going on. It'd be sucking. Is Ross Matthews versus the Ducks. To me, Nathan really hated it. I think from a recap perspective, it was not a good episode if you want to recap something. But in terms of an episode itself, I thought it was just mid at best. What were your thoughts here, Robert?
Yeah, we're just spinning our wheels here. As far as acting challenges go, it wasn't offensively awful, and no one did super terribly. I was surprised that Lana was even able to give the varying levels that she did, I just don't know why Drag Race humor is insistent upon relying on the brawl scene.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have to give them credit. I have to give them credit because a lot of times the brawl scene will then end in them making out, and no one did that.
True, but usually it's only one slap fight, like wig pulling thing. This time it was like 3.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the running bit of Tryon Jackson saying your table is ready and them going. And that I guess it paid off for that. But if I'm watching this show at my parents' house and my dad walks in and a bunch of like queens and loppy padding are scrambled on the floor, I'm like, believe me, Dad, I like this show for better reasons than this.
Yeah. Well, also there's this thing. You said something right now that reminded me of something I didn't say on the show. The Ross. I don't remember what it was. It'll come back to me. Then I'll just have to interrupt you. Any other thoughts on this thing? Oh, I know what it was. I forgot to say this, but maybe I did say that and I didn't dwell on it. But like, when is this show? This show does this thing where it takes pop culture, moments of the time that they're filming, and then expects them to still be relevant 8 months later. So yeah, Truman Capote and his Swans was a thing in the summer of 2024, but now we're in the spring of 2025, and like, a fire has happened, and there's a new president. We're like, what? Was this a show?
I mean, I got to be real with you. Even summer of 2024, the most people talked about Truman and the Swans was like when they'd pass by a billboard of it on Melrose. No one fucking knew about this, and I work in TV.
Yeah, well, like I said, with most Ryan Murphy shows, because I did hear about it after the pilot, people were like, oh my God, it's so good. The pilot's always good for a Ryan Murphy show. It's probably how he sells it. And then it just fucking falls apart. And I never heard anything about it ever again.
Honestly, I said this before. I don't think I've said it this season, though. But I watched every episode of the worst television show in existence, Glee. And
which I hear has an amazing pilot, but go ahead.
I don't know about amazing. The thing is, Glee took itself way too seriously, way too quickly. It started off as like a satire of the overwrought, shticky, campy musical theater shit. And then it all of a sudden thought that it was doing this great thing by putting gay people on television and became an after-school special every fucking week. But regardless, Ryan Murphy just has the worst energy ever. And I have some friends who've worked with him, and I have heard nothing but bad things constantly. Same. And I don't think he would give a beautiful, heartfelt speech to his family of 29 years the way Judith Steinman did.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Everybody should know this. I wouldn't say this is a rule, but it's a good guiding principle. If the person seems effusively nice or sweet or wholesome on television, I'm not saying Ryan Murphy does, but you never see him.
I was going to say, I don't know who you're talking about in this case.
But like, I'm talking about this Ellen DeGeneres and the James Corden, right? They're horrible people, okay? But they're horrible people behind the scenes. But on TV, they're like, oh, sweet, bubblegum nice, right? And then you have this Judge Judy yelling at people all the time. And I think you hear the same thing about Howard Stern. Is then off the air, they're the nicest, sweetest, most kindest people off the air. You know?
Well, I don't know if I'll take it that far, but yeah, I get your point.
I know me, everyone hears me, and I sound like a rotted, horrible person on the air. Robert tells me all the time what a nice, generous person I am.
Yeah, I'm so quick to compliment, right?
And I'm so sweet to him off the air. But on the air,
I'm like, you're so sweet to me today, kitten. Thank you.
So, any other thoughts on the episode?
I'm really just throwing out random shit here. The episode,
there's just not a lot to talk about. Again, it wasn't a horrible episode. It wasn't.
No, but if it was, we'd have more to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. If it was a bad episode, we'd be like, oh my God.
All right, starting from the top to recap the recap. Was it really so damn bad that Arietti said Anya's breath stank? Like, is it super immature and childish and like desperately nasty without an ability to actually be eloquently nasty? Yes. But is it, they act like they basically said, fuck your dead mother.
Well, you're hitting a soft spot to me because this happens to me frequently. So I guess I'm the Arietti, where someone will come for me And because I'm just better at it and I come back with equal force, then all of a sudden they're like, I can't believe he just said, I'm like, the person just literally said something horrible to me right now to my face. But then because I came back and I was like, you know, I hope your family dies of AIDS in a fire. The famous Lori comeback to everything. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe. Oh, you know, again, I've said it before. Like I had this horrible friend of me, more enemy than friend, and we would just do horrible things to each other. And I was looking for a mutual friend, and I knew they were together. And I said, I need to talk to this person. And he goes, he's not here. Meanwhile, I hear him laughing in the background. And I tell the guy on the phone, I go, listen, go fuck yourself. Right? The next day, the mutual friend calls me. He goes, Chris is very upset with you. Not my friend Chris now. We're not friends with the person. He's like, Chris is very, he's very upset with you. He said that's the worst thing that's ever happened to him in his life. By the way, like not a week prior, his ex-boyfriend punched him at the Boom Boom Room in Laguna Beach. Okay.
Very strangely relatable.
Really? How so?
One of my exes punched me at the Ritz
Boom Boom Room?
in New York, summer 2015.
Oh,
Apropos
really?
of nothing. I didn't even deserve it. It's a whole nother story.
Well,
No, I didn't. I didn't say anything or do anything.
Why? And the same thing, same friend, same mutual friend. I found this person after mutual friend's toxic. He had another horrible friend who said something horrible to my face. I don't remember what it was. And I was like, all right. I didn't even say anything rude. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. I left, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, I said I wanted to dance on his grave, and this mutual friend was like, "This is a horrible thing you just said. I can't believe that's a horrible thing." I'm like, this person said something horrible to my face. All I did was get up and leave politely.
Yeah.
Anyway.
An anecdote that matches that. I've mentioned before that I was basically raised by gay wolves. I was the Katie Heron to a cult of mean gays in college. Mm-hmm. And the Regina George character, basically my drag mother, gay mother, whatever, he would always be nitpicking at the friends that I would make or the social life I would make outside of him. And was they're boring. You guys are awful. Why would you hang out with people like that? You can't be seen with people just constant just shit talking on everyone who I liked. So that was like a constant force of just disagreement. And one night in LA, probably like 2 years after college, one of our other friends was visiting and we weren't drinking. And Nathaniel was so pissed that like we weren't drinking, and he's like, "You just guys, you're always like this. You're not fun. You're just a bunch of just boring and just lame and not doing anything interesting. And you'll never amount to anything if you act like this." And we're like, "What is wrong with you? We're literally planning on doing something heavier than drinking later, which is why we're not drinking." But whatever. So he kept nagging on us, and then he was like, "You're just never going to be fly like me." And then I turned around and I spit at him. No, I didn't literally spit at him. I spit at, like, verbally. I was like, what was it? Fuck. I've ruined the momentum of my own story. It was something to the effect of, based on that little pittance you call a salary, I would never call what you look or dress like fly. And the whole table just like turned and just they were aghast and they were so mad. How dare you come for him like that? That's just so awful, such a horrible thing to say. And I'm like, is it a petty little bitchy thing to say? Absolutely. But I was matching his energy when he has for years called me and all my friends personal attacks. You know, I'm sorry that you make $12 an hour, mama, but that's none of my business. And why are you constantly talking shit on me and my people? You deserve a punch back. Anyway, that was the end of that friendship.
100%. Now, I have to admit something, though. I'm Nathaniel. No, in my...
That would unzip?
Yeah.
I would be so glad.
Yeah.
It was you all along.
In my younger years of being the older gay, I was kind of like that. And it wasn't until I was in group therapy with there was a time when I think I started doing group therapy when I was about 27, but it was a gay men's group therapy, but they were all at the time in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. I was the only young chickadee right in there. And I remember there was this guy, I'm sure he's dead by now, Larry.
Jesus.
Well, look, I was in my 20s and he was in his mid 70s.
He could still be kicking.
Yeah, I guess. I will say, go Larry. Larry was one of those old school gays, and he was like 75 years old. And they're like, oh, Larry's not going to be, I can't believe I'm using his real name. What if he is still alive? But whatever. Like, Larry's not going to be coming for a while because he's in house arrest because he got caught in a park, for what gay people get caught in a park for. And so I used to go visit him when he was under house arrest. And it was there that I learned so much, like the gentle touch of an older man, but also,
oh my God.
I did bake a cake with a file in it. I thought it was funny. I took it to him, but
so dumb.
But this came up because I don't remember why, but talking about when he used to mentor younger gays and stuff like that, and it would like he would talk to people who were young and you're gay and they didn't know they were gay, and I would be like, well, why? I don't know. It was in that conversation where he's like, whatever it is, they're gonna figure it out for themselves, and you have to let them figure it out for themselves. And I don't know, it was one of the biggest pieces of advice. There have been several moments where I get a big piece of advice that just immediately changes how I look at things. It was that. Also, my magician mentor, Johnny Ace Palmer, I remember I was sitting down with him. Whenever I used to do magic tricks, my hands would shake, like tremble really badly. I said, like, what do you do? You don't ever tremble. And I go, what? I go, like, you don't get scared? And he goes, well, what's so scary? He goes, I go, well, what they see what you're doing. And he goes, it's a magic trick. So they see what you're doing. And I swear to Christ, my hands never trembled again after that. Because I was like, yeah, it's a fucking magic trick. And I guess that's a lesson for life too. At the end of the day.
I guess so. Who knew you would wax poetic about this?
It's just a magic trick. And anyway, yeah, and I hope Nathaniel learned at the end of the day, they'll figure it out. Even whether he's wrong or right, people figure out who they are. Okay, Robert Mata, you said you had some thoughts about the recap episode.
Oh, mostly to applaud you because I got I've laughed really hard twice today. First, when Lydia was struggling with her scissors, that was probably the hardest I've laughed in this season so far because God damn, that's exactly camp, perfect, amazing, incredible. And then secondly, I got a really good bellow out of the first time Dr. Helen Schaefer Gray was like, oh, ravishing.
Yeah, Dr. Helen Schaefer Gray, she loves her weird exclamations.
She really does. And like, I realize, of course, that she's probably not a doctor, but she has very strong, like, I don't know, honorary degree from Barnard energy.
Yeah. She, and also she's very verbose. If she comes back, I'm the babe, girl, it's 2 to 3 sentences. Come on. That's one thing she can pick up from Blackstone.
That's true. What happened to her subtle superiority?
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, marvelous. That's my impression of her.
Oh, splendiferous.
Yeah, there was one she did for Lydia. I don't remember what it was where I'm like, okay, she's run out of adjectives.
I mean, I think that the SAT Hot Words book is under heavy strain at this point.
Yeah, she ran out of things after a while. I love that Nathan and I just started talking over her. She probably had some great gems. She could have been saying, she might have been doing her shade. Nathan and I talked over her.
That's a good point. Well, she wasn't doing it when y'all weren't talking over her. So just a bunch of men talking over educated women.
True. Good point. Now, speaking of educated women, I was shocked to learn people, a public feed may or may not know this. We'll see what makes it into the curated cut. But that Christian and Mr. Blackstone have like a regular phone call going on all the time.
And I would love to be in that 60s style Palm Springs living room with a Stella in my hand, just kicking back and listening to the girls gab.
Well, I will say, going back to the show, we should comment, maybe we comment on the show. Blackstone did get the inflection and cadence right for that speech, something that Jules was unable to do in that Tiffany New York Pollard speech, which is something that, according to her, she's been doing since high school.
Allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly.
Which is only 3 years ago.
Is that how long the Tiffany... Oh, was it really? Is she that young?
I mean, it was more of a joke about how young they all are. But
one of them was very recently. What? Oh, well...
It was Lana not going to prom because of COVID.
No, but who was the one that said they started watching it in 2005 when they were 5 or something?
Oh, I don't remember who said that. Yeah.
When they were, that means they were born, whatever it was, because Drag Race premiered in 2009. They said they were 5, so they were born in 2004, which means they're 21. Well, is Lydia 21?
I mean, she looks 13, so.
But then how old's Corey?
Corey is 24 or something.
Corey's 24?
She is shockingly one of the youngest in the cast, actually.
Corey King?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you would have said 34, I would have believed you.
I too was gagged.
That is so fucking shocking to me.
Yeah, it's weird.
I was like, not Corey King robbing the cradle, but I guess not.
No.
Oh. Okay.
But anyways, speaking of our lovely cast of fashion experts, I love when Christian comes in with so much intensity. Doll. What did you think of this look?
Oh, Christian. Yeah, he's like, doll. But it could be one of these things. Like I told you, I was on the phone. We were doing a secret 3-way phone call, like you do in junior high. And maybe he was like, once he had to ask the question, he got nervous or something.
Well, he didn't say much more. I love the hurriedness tone that AI Christian has that regular Christian doesn't.
I did say that I kept taking a lot of like, whoop, that I took out because I thought they were distracting. Every time. Mr. Blackstone called me a fat cunt, and that someone told me I was fly, and Too bad Real Christian will never hear this. Any other thoughts on this episode, Robert Patrick Mata?
What a horrible lip sync song. The downfall of Sam Smith must be studied.
Look, this Sam Smith. What I want to. What's the fascination with them?
I have some very strange tea about this, actually. So I just mentioned one of my. I guess today's theme is Robert's gay upbringing. One of the first people that I ever interacted with in the queer community ever was Alok Vade Menon, who is they were part of this artistic,
like a prayer
thing.
You would hear or something.
Well, they're a gender activist now who is truly one of the most gifted writers and spoken word performers I've ever seen or read. And most of their work is to do with like anti-colonialism and like sort of like coming away from like hegemonic ideals and structures of like whiteness and masculinity and even femininity. And in essence, they are a person who has always gone forward with, they were non-binary before non-binary was popular or a thing.
Hold on for a second. I love when people like you say this and they use words like hegemony and patriarchy and stuff like that. And they're like,
I'm buying their language, using their language.
Yeah, I understand. But then you go like, well, okay, so what's the name of their book? And it's like, My Clit Has Two Faces. Or I think it's always like something like very like perverse and not super sophisticated.
That tracks. Well, next week is some kind of parody of the vagina monologues.
Yeah.
Right?
They've done it before, haven't they?
They've done something similar. I don't know if they've ever made it explicitly a satire of the vagina monologues. I can't wait to see what Dr. Helen Schaefer-Gray has to say about that.
We might bring her back for that. Maybe she'll do a vagina monologue.
But that would be lovely. I'd love to hear it. Anyway, so Alok was like my first gay mentor, actually. And we've kind of lost touch over the years since they've interestingly kind of gone into the more celebrity route. But they were the impetus for Demi Lovato, the most annoying human being on the face of the planet, to come out with they, them pronouns, which she has recanted, by the way. Yeah. So you can use she with Demi Lovato. And then very shortly
Demi
after...
Lovato X for a while.
That would be insane.
Would that be shocking?
But Alok had kind of not indoctrinated, but definitely sold the concept of gender non-conforming ideology to Demi Lovato. And then it also happened almost instantaneously with Sam Smith. And it's such an interesting thing to like think that in the queer network of things, I guess I'm like technically one person removed from that non-binary family. It's weird. And it all comes from this person who's supposedly outwardly anti-colonialist and like against being rich and wealthy and successful, and yet they're attaching themselves to all these celebrities. It's just weird. It's such a weird thing to sit and experience.
Has she read Animal Farm?
A million years ago, like it was 8th grade.
All these people want some sort of connection to power. And I think often that's what happens is then once they get close to that power, then they, a good example is Howard Stern. Brought him up earlier, but like in his early days, he was very like anti-celebrity culture, very much on that like, straight male. Like if nothing would have changed, he probably would have been in this Joe Rogan pro-Trump clique kind of thing. And then he met his wife, who I think she really wanted to. He used to sort of shun celebrity culture. She got used to being friends with celebrities. He became friends with them, and now he's a completely different person. He's like totally friends with all these celebrities. Doesn't make fun of them anymore. Biden Harris, supporter and all that. And I think once you get close to it, then you like realize you want to stay in that cool crowd.
I guess I can't think of two people I want to party with less than Demi Lovato and Sam Smith.
All right.
Oh, stupendous.
Oh, marvelous.
Oh, just divine.
Oh, because she said scrumptious. Oh, scrumptious. I could see her saying that. Also, why does she have that like weird over the top wannabe mid-Atlantic accent?
Because she got a honorary degree from Barnard.
Like she doesn't say her ahs.
She's so breathy.
Yeah. Oh, she's very breathy. And her mouth is always right on top of the mic. So I was like, like I'm almost like, okay, girl, back up 3 inches.
I mean, she's invited to the brunch.
I'm sure she's wild. You get a couple of dirty martinis into her, and
that's a Chardonnay type of gal.
Oh, she's a Chard. What's the one with
maybe
orange juice?
A mimosa?
Yeah, you don't think she's...
No, mimosas are so over. Like, honestly, truthfully, and this is not a dig, but brunch is over.
Anyways, this Sunday... All right, guys, why don't we call it a day there? There's not a lot to talk about on this episode.
I wanted to keep being such a gossipy little queen today.
Oh, we can do that off the air, but we've hit my minimum that I have to contractually do, and so we'll see you guys next. You know what's so funny? When I hang up, I'm gonna stop this microphone because it's the last chance I have to talk about this episode, and I'll be like, "Why didn't I say this amazing thing?"
Well, what else is there to say? It was very bog standard acting challenge. Everyone hates Ross Matthews. We get it. I don't think he's that bad, but he's not good either. And Sam Starr's runway was incredible. I adored it. So good. The wig, the overly structured wig, no, but the runway, so good. I don't understand why they were living for jewels. That's not going in no drag Smithsonian.
I saw somebody say this online. Actually, I think it was Naomi Smalls on Race Chaser. I saw a clip on TikTok. And she made a really good description of Sam. I'm talking about this right as the music's playing. But about how Sam Starr's drag is so like Christian. It's so like...
Well, that's what I've called since day one. It was just a little bit too sanitized.
I'm actually not sure with Naomi Smalls, I'm being honest with you. But
I think I have seen something quote of that, yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week right here on Rulaska Thoughts. Hopefully next week is the vagina monologues, yeah?
That's supposedly, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that was just part of the song.
Neither me. I feel like I'm listening to the If Beale Street Could Talk soundtrack.
I didn't like that movie. Everybody was... I remember I went to go see a movie in the theater when it came out. I'm like, yeah. If
How dare you
could get up and
disrespect
leave.
James Baldwin and the work of one Nicholas Bertel.
I don't know what he was talking about either.
Composer.